Christian and Schmitty, bring good vibes as they break it all down. As if Giants run first, rock and garage all over town. It's a podcast that burns fire for sure, the place to MLB forever. As a Giants, the time is now, make baseball history forever. SF Giants forever, forever. SF Giants, the place to MLB.
Right outside of Oracle Park, just minutes after Bob Melvin, Matt Williams, Christensen, all gone, day after the season ends. I'm Schmitty. We're here with another episode of Forever Giants Podcast, the place to MLB.
Boom! Welcome back to another episode of the Forever Giants podcast. I'm Christian. Our roving reporter Schmitty is out in the field. He's been down at the ballpark, hoping to have him here soon. But anyways, welcome in everybody. The season is over. Bob Melvin is over. Matt Williams is over. And how do we feel about it? I mean, what a rough ending to a kind of good season, kind of bad season. But we're all here and we're all alive, and we got the playoffs to look forward to and the offseason to look forward to. There's a better crop of free agents out there than there's been in the past, I don't know, 2 seasons. Oh, there he is. Boom. How fast was your dog dragging you down the block to get back?
Dude, I had to fucking run, man. How's it going, everybody? Are we hyped? Are we bummed? Are we a little bit of both? What's good?
Well, we had to go through some being bummed to be hyped, I think, because I think with a new manager, with this current roster and a couple of upgrades in some spots, 2026 could be a really good year. So I'm not feeling bad. And the Mets got eliminated, which makes me feel good. And the Dodgers are going to get blown out at some point, and that makes me feel good. So it's not all bad. It's just, when the end of the season rolls around, the end of the season rolls around.
Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about this. 81 and 81. Last year they were 2 games under 500, so they improved. But obviously the meltdown from the minute they brought Devers onto the team, a half game behind the Dodgers, the collapse was so gnarly. And I think the fan base wasn't going to accept Bob Melvin as the manager rolling it out the same way next year. There's a lot of names I'm hearing. I was down at the ballpark, as we just saw. I was down there for a little bit, and Willie ADAMES came in to get his stuff. I saw Spencer Bivens. A lot of these guys are coming by sporadically just to clean out their lockers. And I was talking to a few people, and it seems like there's like this, as we know, the world is divided, right? You either like this guy or you don't like this guy. And there's a lot of pro Bochy going on, and a lot of let the past be the past. Let's stop reminiscing and move forward. And to be honest, I thought a lot about it today, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be bummed if Bochy comes. No way. By no means necessary. If him or Dusty Baker was the pick, I trust in Buster no matter what. But I do think that Buster's main choice should be something new outside the organization with fresh eyes, youthful, energetic, and that's a good leader that can come into a team that's already pretty much assembled. I think we're 2 or 3 pieces away. We need a starting pitcher, bullpen help, and then I think a corner outfielder. But if we could bring in somebody like a Vogt, that comes in and just takes the ship and says, have you ever thought about driving it this way? I think that's what it's going to take. I think, the names like Hallberg, Wotus, I'm not sure what else, and Bochy, obviously, those are names within the organization. And then you go outside the organization, you hear names like, I've heard Yadier Molina, Mark DeRosa, Nick Hundley, Schumacher, Joe Madden, David Ross, Brandon Hyde is one from the Orioles because he's Santa Rosa guy. You know, everybody wants to tell you that whoever the Giants sign as a player or hire as a coach is going to be somebody that grew up locally. That's not how this business.
Yeah, no, and I checked out Pavlovich a little bit. He had a couple of interesting things to say about it. First of all, he was talking barn door after the cow escaped with saying, "Oh, it's too bad we didn't bring Stephen Vogt in 2 years ago, right? Because look what he's done with the Guardians." But the other thing he was talking about, which makes a lot of sense to me, is this whole idea of trying to have the storybook thing happen in San Francisco. Have the local boy makes good story, or we've restoked the fires of the past and now we're going to rise up again. And it's like, that doesn't work. You got to go out and get the best you can get, right? So like I've heard Mark DeRosa tossed around. He manages Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Mark played for the Giants. It starts going down that road, like the connection. Like, well, he's a former Giant. Okay, that's not the reason to hire him. You know, everybody loves those stories, but right now with the Giants, what we really need of is somebody who can take the reins, who can motivate this team, because I think these guys underperformed this year. For whatever reason, I think Melvin is culpable in that. And I do think it needs to be a guy who can relate and understand Buster Posey's philosophy when it comes to the way that he played the game and the way that he now is looking at it from the outside, trying to make a winning team, make a winning franchise. He said in his presser, he said, the fans deserve it, the city deserves it, we got to give it to them. And so I think he's going to be really driven to make the best pick possible. Oh yeah, the pupusa queen.
Que onda, pupusa? Yeah, I agree. I mean, so for me, it's almost like last year where you're used to this way, right? Where Farhan regime, for example, like, they're going to play it safe. They're going to do it this way. We don't necessarily know how Buster plays right now. What I do like about what Buster's done so far is he doesn't waste any time. He got ADAMES like that. He re-signed Chapman like that way before the time that it would be going on. And he did Melvin like right away this morning. I like those moves quick. And then hopefully when it's time to hire somebody, he'll do it at the earliest possible, because you're going to want time for the team to talk and meet the guy and just start building. Like last year when they got ADAMES, he went to spring training like a couple weeks early just to hang out with the guys and start, meshing and stuff. And like all that stuff is so important. I think the Giants team right now, chemistry wise, is really good, really strong. These guys love each other. They love to play with one another, all that stuff. There's not really like groups and stuff. And like the Latin community is super strong with Devers, Encarnacion, ADAMES, Ramos. So I think the team is literally we just need to drop. You and I both say this every day. We need a hitter. We need a hitter. We need two hitters. We need somebody that's not going to strike out a lot. Like I looked at Luis Arias. I think he struck out 27 times this year.
Yeah.
Devers struck out 197. So just put that into your pipe and smoke it. It's like pretty crazy to think there's nobody on the Giants that struck out less than 100 times. Most people was like 125 to 160. And then Devers, the big bopper, Shohei struck out almost 200 times too. It's what you're doing when you're not striking out. And Devers fully legit. So I back that. We just can't have the whole team striking out.
Yep. And ADAMES racked up, I think, 200 strikeouts. But his first half was atrocious. And the second half was like much, much, much better. I mean, look, like he had that first half and he still got to 30 home runs. The first guy to hit 30 home runs since Bonds. Right?
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal. I think a lot of people will discount that because they didn't make the postseason, and in the end, they finished 500. But hey, this was the first year for Adames, new city, new team, new everything, and it takes some time to settle in, right? Devers, I don't think was entirely settled in even by the last game of the season. So I'm looking forward to next year because I think those guys are going to be comfortable. They know they're here long term. You know what you're going to get out of Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman, without the injuries, would have had a stellar season. He missed 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So
Right.
it's a big deal. And I feel like we saw the chemistry when they'd get on a hot one and they'd win, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. And you could just see like how they were clicking. And then when they go into a little bit of a slump, they're still celebrating every home run. They're still, everybody's getting high fives from everybody else. Everybody's smiling. Like these guys get along. And so, a lot of people say, oh, well, since Devers came, their record went in the toilet and they sucked. It has nothing to do with him coming. They were up and down all year. Right after the All-Star break, they tanked, and he wasn't on the team yet. So, I mean, people are just looking for a place to point the finger, and it's like you could go right down the lineup, and you could point fingers at a lot of guys and say you could have done better. But we're not talking about huge differences. I mean, Ryan Walker, maybe, but there's not a lot of guys you could pick out and say, man, you really gave up the ghost for us this year. I think Melvin just couldn't get it going. I think he didn't handle the pitching well. Buster proved me half right. I predicted Melvin would get fired, but I thought it would happen after the playoffs and the World Series. So I'm glad that he did it now because that way the playoffs can be a welcome distraction, and we'll find out who the manager is probably by what? Halloween? Maybe Thanksgiving at the latest.
I was going to say November, first week in November, I think, because I believe the owners meeting, the first winter meeting is sometime around November, and then the second one is December, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think what I heard was Ryan Christensen and Matt Williams already either resigned or got fired, but they both said, like, we're not returning. I would be surprised if Pat Burrell returns. So Damon Minor, Oscar Bernard, those guys I think are on the bubble. I think Garvin Alston's on the bubble as well. I think that the guys that are coming back, for sure, Mark Hallberg's coming back, and then Alex Berg and JP Martinez is going to probably depend on who the coach is that comes in. I think the coach will have, the manager will have decisions to make on who keeps or who he wants to bring along with him, much like when Bomel came, he brings Matt Williams with him everywhere. So the new manager will probably have 1 or 2 guys that he wants. He'll take a look at what he has and then go from there. It's going to be interesting. I really see the Giants as some areas that it seems like most of us agree on the flaws. And I'm thinking a new manager can come in and see that, and that could be the direction to fix. It's like we need speed. We need guys that strike out less. The key to this team is under pressure, being able to score with runners in scoring position. It's 100% what's wrong with the team. Matt Chapman striking out with a man at third in less than 2 outs is not acceptable in a high pressure situation where he could tie the game or win the game. Those type of things need to be changed. And I don't know exactly how you do it. I don't know if it's changing the personnel or changing the mindset or a bunch of things, but it has to change. That's the number one thing, and it frustrates the entire fan base. So let's hope that new regime, if you will, new attitude with some maybe things that can click in some of these guys. The thing that I'm really wondering, I don't know if you've thought about this at all, but like, who's tradable now? Like, is Matt Chapman tradable? Would someone want Matt Chapman? Could we trade him, replace him at third base, now that Bomel's gone, because Chapman kind of came here because of Bomel, but I'm not going full Haruku on you, but I did really get frustrated at the end of this season seeing how often Chapman strikes out with. I like the guy. I love his defense, but there was so many times where I was like, has this guy ever performed when we need him? Like in a real clutch situation, I don't really remember it happening.
He has, but it's been overshadowed by especially this last month down the stretch where he had some rough at bats in situations where, you pointed this out last time we were on about where is the guy in this lineup who grabs the moment by the balls, the guy that comes up and says, no matter what happens, I am going to get these guys in, right. if I have to hockey check the first baseman, whatever it's going to take, the guys that come up in the big moments and they go, this is what I live for, and when you pointed that out last time, it's like not really a revelation, but it is a solid point, because there were so many times this year and in the past couple of seasons where the Giants have runners on, they got less than 2 outs. It's looking like a big rally, a big inning is about to erupt. And then just nothing, pop out, strike out, like, what, ground ball, double play. It just happens so much. And I think Devers is one of those guys that next year we can rely on him to perform in those big moments. I think ADAMES is that guy. I think Casey Schmitt could be that guy. And I think Chapman can be that guy too. But when he's in the cleanup spot, it forces the issue. Because you got the top of the lineup, you got some on-base threats, and then he's coming up with guys on base, and he shouldn't be in that spot. As far as trade value, I definitely think Chapman has trade value, but it always comes back to that question: what are you going to get for him? Are you going to get a bunch of prospects? The Giants are like, up to their necks in prospects, and a lot of them just aren't really anything. So it's got to be, you got to go out. If you're going to trade Chapman, you got to get a really good arm or a really good outfielder in exchange. I mean, Chapman's what? Number 3, number 2 in defensive metrics, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible on defense, but the plate appearances. Now, I will say this. He's done better in San Francisco than he did in Toronto. Okay, in Toronto, he was dog shit. And in Oakland before that, he was really good. He hit for power in Oakland, but Oakland is not Oracle. The ball moves in Oakland a little bit more. So it's not like he's some great power hitter, but I think he's capable of playing. I think he's capable of hitting better than he's shown since he's been in SF.
I mean, he can give you 25 home runs. One thing I noticed is his strikeouts have decreased the last few years. But I think his playing time has decreased a little bit too because of his injuries. But I'm just thinking if another team would eat the salary, like we trade Chapman for, something, but they pay his whole contract from here on out, then as a free agent, you could go get Bichette, put him at second and put Schmitt at third, and you might have a better squad. I mean, Bichette hits 311, doesn't strike out. He's like one of the best hitters in baseball. And replacing Chapman with a Bichette would be an upgrade. I just think we need upgrades.
My argument against Bichette would be this, that when Casey Schmitt has played third, while he's fielded it really well and he's got a cannon for an arm, his throws to first base from third have been really suspect. I mean,
that's because he was all over the place. He's got to just play a one position.
I get it, but I think he does better at second. I really do. I mean, obviously we haven't seen enough of him at third, but man, it was sketchy when he was over there, right? And you're counting on a routine ground ball to third being an instant out, and he's throwing the ball 10 feet over the head of the first baseman. Now, if you got Eldridge over there, okay, so you're giving Casey an extra foot of height to catch the ball, but I don't know.
You could put Devers at third too.
Yeah, my feeling about the infield is probably it's the single most stable thing that the Giants have going. right? You got Koss as your utility guy who's been pretty damn good, definitely great defensively. I think, a plus defender, and he's been pretty clutch at the plate, And you got Schmidt, who I'm expecting big things out of Casey Schmidt the next couple seasons. I think he's only just started to blossom now.
Yeah, I love Casey.
He got the regular playing time. And now you got this thing where you got Devers, who can either settle into being the DH with Eldridge playing first, or they sort of tag team it, right? And Chapman, he's in there as long as I don't know. I mean, maybe he'll waive his trade clause now that Melvin's gone, but I don't think so. So I don't feel particularly bad about the infield. I think the outfield is lacking. I think we need another solid starter, and definitely some bullpen help, right?
Yeah, I could see that. I just think Chapman has been a big. Here's the thing: there's no way Chapman bats fourth in my lineup ever. Chapman, if we keep Chapman, he's 6. Like, I'd rather have ADAMES, Ramos, Devers, and Eldridge, and have Chapman 6, and then maybe he's he's in the 4 hole, and he's so not the guy. Like Wilmer, when Wilmer comes off the bench, you're like, he's gonna do it. When Chapman comes up, you're like, oh, he's going to strike out. And he does. Almost No, honestly, I went to many games.
Yeah,
and dude,
I know.
By the end of the year, you're like, it's insane. And I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but like, I get it. His hand was hurt. The dirt was too hard, all these excuses. But at some point, you got to own up to the fact that, like, you got to start making contact, bro. Even if you ground out, that's better than a strikeout when there's runners in scoring position less than 2 outs. So to me, that's the number one thing that frustrates me and everybody else that watches the Giants.
Yeah. How much of that do you think was Melvin trying to rekindle some old Oakland magic by putting Chapman in the cleanup spot? Because he batted cleanup in Oakland, right? And when Melvin was managing. And so Melvin's maybe giving him preferential treatment in terms of where he hits in the lineup, trying to get him more at bats. If he's in the, in the 4 hole, he's going to get more at bats per game than the guy who's in the 8 hole. So whatever the case, I mean, Chapman will be here next year, at least to start. Whatever manager they decide to bring in, hopefully will. I mean, I'm sure all these managerial candidates that Buster's looking at, they've been watching every team all year. Like they know what's going on with the Giants. They see where the flaws are. They see where the strengths are. So I would think that any knowledgeable potential manager coming in would be like, yeah, Chapman's not a cleanup hitter, and it'll just solve the problem right there.
I mean, don't you think Buster knows who the manager is?
He's probably got a real short list at this point.
I'm sure he knows it's 1 or 2 guys, and he's talked to both of them. There's no way he fires Baumel without having at least a lead on the next guy.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's probably maybe 3 or 4 guys, because it's dependent on whether somebody wants the job. You could say, I want you to be the manager, and the guy would be like, man, I just had a kid. I'm like, I don't think I'm cut out to do it right now. So yeah, it's probably a short list.
He's probably already had those discussions. He probably talked to Bochy earlier in the year and said, would you come? I need to know like who's available before I get rid of a guy.
Yeah. I honestly think Bochy is far down the list if he's even on it. I think Buster understands that like the game has changed. The roster has changed. You can't catch lightning in a bottle twice, right? I mean, I love Bruce Bochy, but that time passed. And I think that time in baseball is passing too. I feel like it needs to be somebody a little bit closer to today's game than somebody who was already old in 2010. Right. So, I mean,
I hope it's not Hallberg or Wotus. I think that'll be, a little bit of a like, oh, really? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, they need to go outside the organization. I think that's a must, because I think they brought in guys from all these different places now. For a long time, the Giants were like solid on a lot of homegrown talent, and then they'd bring in a piece here and a piece there. But Buster kind of broke the mold. He went out and got ADAMES, right? He went out and got Devers. He's got, he's made trades and brought guys in from the Mets organization and from the Yankees organization, from everywhere. So I think that going from within the organization, like, that needs to change too. Just in terms of like who's at the top.
No, for sure. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think it's cool to bring in Chili Davis as a hitting coach or Vogie as a pitching coach, like having a little bit, but I don't think all the way down the line it should be like, here we go, Matt Williams, Pat Burrell, like da-da-da. It's like it should just be the best dude available. And also, I do think fresh eyes, and like if we're continually bringing people from the organization, they're seeing and doing the same things we're already doing. Exactly. We need something new. We need a guy from the Cleveland Guardians to come over and be like, have you ever put cranberry in your pizza? Like, something to mix this shit up. I'm like, oh my God, that's all it took, Absolutely. So I don't know. We're probably not going to know. And there's probably going to be, so this is the time of the year where we all hate, right? It's like all we can do is speculate, and everybody thinks they're the I told you so guy, and Aaron Judge is coming, Soto's not coming, all these different things. So we're starting out with managers and coaches, and then we're going to open the free agent door, and we're going to hear names like Kyle Tucker. We're going to hear Framber. We're going to hear who's the center fielder for the Yankees, Trent Grisham. All these guys that are free agents, like, what are the chances the Giants are going to get them? And do they have spending money after getting ADAMES, Devers, and Chapman? I do think, after listening to some other shows, anybody that puts any type of blame on Buster has just not been paying attention. I mean, to bring in Devers the way he did was insane. Like, that's so out of Giants. We haven't done anything like that in a long time. And everybody says, oh, you traded away your best relievers. Well, Duvall wasn't doing that well. And correct me if I'm wrong, but yes, Rogers was our best reliever, but he brought us maybe the spark that got us winning again, which is Gilbert, who was playing every day, brought that crazy energy, and we started winning again. So if that winning stuff didn't happen, we would have been out of it. The reason Buster traded those guys was because we had lost to the Pirates. We had lost to the White Sox. We had lost to the Mets. We were losing, and it was time to change the narrative. You guys always complain, why didn't he trade Rodon at the deadline? Why didn't he trade this guy? Why not? Well, now he does, and you're like, why did he trade our bullpen? It's like, again, nobody can do anything right, and all the armchair quarterbacks want to call the instant replay, but you can't go back in time, bros. So pay attention to what's going on. The team got better, and it got better in many ways. And Rogers, I'll be so surprised if he's not one of the first people that Buster brings back to the squad.
Could be. And that's why they call it a trade, because you're trading. So I got to, Robbie Rothberg is like begging for us to respond to some comments. So I'm going to do it real quick. He's asking how many years would Posey sign a manager for? I think the requisite is 3 years. I think that's generally
3 with a 4 option sometimes.
Industry standard, 3 to 4, and then you decide whether to extend or you hire another guy. I think with all the sort of tumult in the Giants organization over the past 5 years, that Buster's probably looking for a longer term hire. So like a 4-year deal wouldn't be out of the question, right? Because you can always fire the guy if you just, I mean, look, they just extended Melvin a couple months ago and now he's gone. So there's that. You know, what else did he say? Will the new manager have complete autonomy? I don't think managers ever have complete autonomy, but I think more autonomy than some managers will get. If Buster knows he's confident on the guy he picks, yeah, he's going to give him autonomy because he's going to trust him to manage the team. I mean, Buster's role is not to be Farhan and play iPad analytics all day and then wire the lineup to the manager. Buster's job is to go out and get the talent. And I think he understands that, you know. Farhan was a control freak. We all know that. He wanted to run every aspect of the team. And it's
Melvin had autonomy.
Yeah, I think he did, and he definitely had more under Posey than under Farhan, right?
Complete, probably not,
Not
but
complete.
definitely a majority.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's that. So we should run down some of these things. Most valuable players for the Giants this year. Let's get on to some positive notes, and then we can waffle back and forth. But
And then we'll bring the Shardizzle on. He's just sitting there shaking with all his Coke drink and ready to come on. And I can't wait to hear this guy talking about what he liked. But top 3 MVPs, I'm going Webb, Devers, and ADAMES.
Okay. Well, I got 2 of the same guys. I got Webb, ADAMES, and I actually put Chapman, but mostly for his defense. I feel like Devers wasn't here long enough for me to really add him to the list, even though his impact was pretty big, and I think it's going to be huge in moving forward. So, a lot of other guys, I'd love to say Elliot Ramos is one of my guys, but he was hot and cold at the plate. He played horrific defense at times. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't as big of a factor. And we talked about ADAMES before, how even though he had a rotten first half, the energy that he brought and the passion that he brought to the team, I think the Giants could have had a worse season without him. Definitely. So I think he was probably, between him and Webb, definitely a top 2.
Yeah, Devers hit 20 home runs in 9 games as a Giant.
Yeah. Pretty solid.
So that was as many as Elliott hit all year.
Yeah. Speaking of Devers, where's that jersey, brother? No, the Devers jersey. Yeah, all right. Yeah, his name on the back.
Shit, jamming up.
Yeah, you kind of gappy
Not yet.
there. Yeah, so we already talked about team chemistry a little bit. I mean, what do you think? What do you think off season? What free agents are they going after? And who do you want versus who do you think they'll get? Uh-oh. That ballpark cell phone coverage followed you.
What the hell's going on here?
Schmitty's having technical issues. Yeah. Whoever thought 83 wins gets you into the playoffs? Well, that's the new playoff format, right? It's kind of like the World Cup. They're putting more countries in it now, so you get the dregs, the bottom of the barrel guys. That's just kind of the way it is, right? Come on, Schmitty, you can do it. So I want to know what everybody thinks. Let's throw out some free agent names. Let's hear it. There it is. You might be onto something, D-Boggs. These guys have been at each other for a while now. So, yeah, let's see. Daniel saying 2 starting pitchers, 2 bullpen pieces, and don't mention Tucker. That's not happening. Yeah, I don't think Tucker's happening either, although I would love it if it did. I'm thinking outfield-wise, they could go after Ref Snyder. They could go after Cedric Mullins. I think both of those guys would be affordable, whatever they're looking for salary, and quality players. Ref Snyder is a heavy-duty contact hitter, and Cedric Mullins was good. I don't think he wants to stick around New York anymore. He might be a good get.
I can't even do
Pete Alonso. Yeah, he opted out, but Alonso doesn't impress me, and his home run numbers go down at Oracle if he comes to San Francisco. And Paul Skeens is not a free agent. So Edwin Diaz, nah. I don't know. I mean, I think starting pitcher, if we have to fill one of those holes, I think Framber Valdez would be really good. Ranger Suarez might be a really interesting acquisition for the rotation. And in terms of the bullpen, Tyler Rogers, wouldn't be bummed to see him back. And Chris Paddock is another guy that I've
Can't
kind of
even
been
move.
looking at. It's being a bullpen piece. What's going on, Schmitty? Got to restart your router. Chris Bassett, Real Muto. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what you guys are saying in here. Yeah, this I agree with Robert. Like I don't know. It's kind of like I don't feel like they need a lot of pieces. I feel like Landon Roop's going to be a powerhouse next year. They got Webb. Ray's going to stick around one more year. Verlander's gone, obviously. Maybe Hayden Birdsong could put it back together. But look, Trevor McDonald, he's only pitched in 2 games, but I don't know if you saw the game the other night. He was fantastic. So if he can pitch like that, he could be a rotation piece in the 4 spot or the 5 spot. Oh, now you're pixelated.
Am I? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but it's better if you're not like stopping and stopping. I don't care if you're pixelated.
Am I fluid? Is there fluidity?
Yeah, no, you're smooth. I can hear you. Everything's good. So I was just running through some free agent stuff and looking at are you locking up or are you just like weird, man? San Francisco, the capital of the internet, and it's down. Let's see what's up. We hear lots of dishes. Yeah, what's going on? Washing dishes.
Corbin. Is it working now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I'm sorry, guys. Glenn has sabotaged my whole existence.
He's probably up there cutting your wires right now.
I think he went back to Canada, actually.
So what do you think? What do you think are the chances of getting Framber Valdez? It's possible. Do you think that's a guy that Buster would be looking at for the rotation?
Nope.
No. Interesting.
Mm-mm.
Because of that one pitch?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, to do something like that is pretty out of character for somebody, and you do not want to mess up the chemistry and have some guy, if he's a prima donna, elitist or whatever, I don't know much about him, but he was on the Astros, which is strike 1. Then he threw that pitch, that's strike 2. I'd rather have Dylan Cease than Framber Valdez, actually, and maybe even Chris Sale, maybe Michael King or Shane Bieber, Shota Imanaga. My guys in the bullpen would be Devin Williams or Ryan Helsley. Those are the guys I'd be looking at to hopefully get one of or two of to hype that up. Pete Alonso is not coming, so you can stop talking about that. We don't need another first baseman unless they trade away Devers and Bryce. Kyle Tucker, I think you got to kick tires on it. I think you got to figure out if there's a chance that he wants to come to the West Coast, if you can afford him, all that stuff. Kyle Tucker would help tremendously.
Yeah.
And like I said before, Bo Bichette, and then the name nobody wants to hear, especially this guy. You're going to hear it, though. Cody Bellinger is going to be in the mix again. You're going to hear Cody Bellinger. He hits 300. He steals 20 bags. He doesn't strike out a lot, and he can play outfield or first base. It's almost starting to be like he's a Yankee, not a Dodger anymore. I don't see him coming here, but I'm just saying that name will be you'll be hearing about him.
They like him in New York, and I think the Yankees are going to go after Schwarber hard.
They should. Schwarber and as a Yankee would be insanity.
I think I'm pretty sure that's where he's going to end up. Yeah. I thought about.
I think the Mets will get Framber, to be honest. I think the Mets are going to have to get pitching. And Cohen already wrote an apology to his fan base. They're going to spend a gazillion more dollars, try to keep up with the Yankees and get the top pitchers available. So look out for them. They could get like Zach Gallen, Framber Valdez, and Shota or something. I don't know.
I think the only thing that might put a wrench in the works for them is that, look, they had a $341 million payroll this year, and look what it amounted to. I mean, at some point, somebody there, the light bulb's going to go on. It's like, hey, just because we spend the most money doesn't make us the best team. I think the Dodgers are going to find that out in a really rude awakening way this postseason, right? I mean, look at they haven't played great baseball for the last 45 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they came in and plowed the Giants, but really, like, they haven't been the powerhouse that everybody thought. You know, they didn't end up with the best record in baseball. The Brewers did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole playoff picture is kind of interesting, but I don't know that the Mets are going to go out and just go full blown and try to spend billions again like they did a couple of years ago.
I'd be surprised if they don't get some improvements in the starting rotation and put down some big dollars.
I think they're definitely going to try to upgrade. I just don't know what. You know, Alonso's gone. He's not going to want to stick around there. He opted out. I mean, who knows where he's going to end up. Now, when I was going through the free agent lists for the upcoming season, you know, I was trying to look at, first of all, the guys that I'd love to get, like Tucker, and then tried to look down the list at guys who fit into the Giants' budget plans and are also potentially a much greater possibility to sign with San Francisco. So like Rob Refsnyder, who's an insane contact hitter, I thought would be a really good choice to shore up the outfield. Him or Cedric Mullins. Cedric Mullins, I think, is really underrated in terms of what he can do. And he probably doesn't want to stick around New York after this year, right? I mean, I think a lot of these guys on the Mets that are free agents, like Helsley, they're just going to be like, I got to go somewhere where I got a real shot, man. We're just cursed.
I hope. I mean, that's why, like, I would never have gone to the Mets if I was Soto.
It was a big mistake. And he was instantly unhappy, right? A month in, he was like bitching about it. It's like,
no, he didn't pay much attention. You know, he took the highest dollar and didn't look at where he was going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Robert Rothberg asking who we keep. Which starting players, excluding pitchers, would you keep?
I'd keep the current infielders. I think I'd keep Koss around as a utility guy unless something better comes along. I think he'd give Ramos the offseason to figure out defense. And if he does, you keep him. Jung-Hoo Lee you keep. So it's like right field is basically interchangeable, you know. And Patrick Bailey, do you keep him?
Well, that's the discussion I had written down was, do you go all in on Real Muto while everybody's going after Tucker? Do you try to get Adley? These are two names that are definitely available in the offseason. And I don't know. I don't know if the Giants are going to give up on Bailey or not, but that would be a surprise to me that might be a pleasant surprise. The other thing that could happen to me is they trade somebody, and I could see Ramos. I don't think they would trade Jung-Hoo Lee because he's pretty much the fan favorite besides him and ADAMES at this point. And then maybe there's interest in the new guy, Gilbert, out and right. I think we need an upgrade in a corner outfield, whether it's left field or right field. I think that is our number one position outside of pitching that needs to be improved. The backup catcher is probably going to be improved, right? The starting catcher, I don't know if it's going to be improved. Maybe it's improved just by Bailey playing better than he did this year. But
well, that's the problematic thing with Bailey is that his bat doesn't match his catching abilities.
Yeah.
It's not even close. It's like night and day. And I mean, yeah, sure, we all have the Patrick Bailey moments from this season and last, but really it's like he just doesn't hit enough. And so you need production out of your catcher. You need, your backup catcher could be a weak hitter, but your starting catcher has got to be, you know, I'm not talking Yachty or Molina quality, but got to be above average if you want to get anywhere, you know. I mean, Posey was the example of what you want. You know, a guy who was clutch, he could hit, and he's a stellar defensive catcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah, catcher's a question mark. I don't know that Bailey, maybe there's a team out there that wants him, right? And you could do a trade and then go sign a free agent catcher, you know, and bring in somebody who can hit. Because at this point, with the lack of production out of the lineup at times during the season, it's that much more glaring when you have a guy like that who just doesn't have the bat. I mean, he was barely above 200, and a lot of time he was under 200 this year, you know. And that's the other thing. When you go down the Giants lineup, you see a bunch of 220, 230, 240 hitters. You look at other teams, 260, 270, 280 hitters. Okay. Yes, I saw that. That's a rarity.
Yeah, this is the problem. I mean, honestly, the Giants to me have the same player over and over. Like Chapman and Bailey are the same guy. It's like they're great defense, but they should be better offensively. And then in the outfield, they got all these guys that are kind of interchangeable. They're all about the same level. This guy hits better. This guy's better defense, but doesn't hit. But they don't have one guy that's just like the guy out in the outfield. Even Jung-Hoo Lee, I think he can do a lot better than he's been doing.
Yeah.
But right field and left field right now, I'm not sold on either of those. If Ramos spends his whole offseason becoming closer to above average defender, that's the move I would make for Ramos. I would just say, look, he led the team in hits. He had plenty of good offensive days, but his defense was at times like borderline embarrassing. And that we can't have that. We need the all-around guys. You know, a 20-20 guy is what I'm shooting for. I want somebody that steals 20 and hits 20 home runs and can play defense. That would be great.
Yeah. And see, I'm good with keeping Gilbert around and McRae around as utility outfielders, late innings defensive outfielders. But I don't think at this point, you know, McRae hasn't proven that he can do it at the plate. Gilbert is kind of, we haven't seen enough of him to know yet. But I don't know that either of those guys are like your solid everyday starting outfielder. And Ramos, with that defense, he's not necessarily a solid starting everyday outfielder either. You know.
See, this is the thing I'm talking about right here.
Yep.
Because it was Wilmer. Wilmer was the guy I wanted up in the clutch situation, but he dwindled. Like, he's a great first half, and then I think his legs get tired. Whatever happens, I don't know. But after that, Devers, Chapman, Adames, maybe Adames. Dom Smith was pretty legit at times. I don't know if he'll be back. But yeah, it's there's not one dude that I'm like, God, if he comes up, we'll win, you know? And that's what we need. We need a guy that's like, I'm going to get like a Luis Arias. I'm going to hit the ball. It might be out, but I'm going to hit it, you know? It could be a ground ball. It could be a line drive. It could be out. But if I got a guy at third base and less than 2 outs, more times than not, I'm bringing that guy in. That's what I need.
Yeah. Yeah, because even the sacrifice fly wasn't in play with a lot of these guys this year. I mean, when McRae came into that one game and hit that sac fly, I was so happy. I was so happy. It was just like, yes, like this is what we need. We need guys to come in, just put their head down, get the job done. You know, I feel like Willy Adames, Devers, I think those are the kinds of guys that have the best opportunity to be that guy right now. Maybe Casey. And beyond that, it's like, yeah, I mean, Wilmer was super clutch for a month and a half. And then, you know. And
so I just got a text message question that says, Who is the backup third baseman if Casey Schmitt is the starting second baseman? Is it Devers?
Might be Devers. Might be Devers.
Could be Devers.
I mean, that's his native position, right? I mean, he started to get first base kind of dialed in. I was impressed, position he's never played. And the fact that he did it in the face of the Red Sox, like, yeah. Yeah. How many? Oh, 2.
That was bad.
Poor guy, dude. The look on his face was like he looked like a 3-year-old kid who just got caught stealing a cookie.
So, if you could pick free agents that you wanted on the team, you those were your guys that you were talking about?
Yeah, in the outfield, if not Tucker, if the Giants can't get Tucker, I was looking down the list, and I think like Rob Repsnyder is the kind of guy whose game would play really well at Oracle. He's a huge contact hitter, right?
Okay.
And Cedric Mullins gives you solid above average defense, a lot of speed.
Is Mullins a free agent?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good name. What about starting pitcher?
Starting pitcher, I mean, I had Framber Valdez on the list, but obviously I
You
think
do not like Framber Valdez.
No, I don't, but I think in terms of the quality that you get from him is good. Ranger Suarez, I think is kind of underrated and overlooked. And I think I was trying to look at guys that come in at a little lower salary and also guys that are like starting pitchers. I don't want a 36-year-old starting pitcher. You're going to go out and sign a free agent starting pitcher, bring in a guy who's 30, 31, 32, right? A guy who you're willing to say, look, I can get 3, 4, maybe even 5 good years out of this dude before he starts, falling off. So when I look at the free agent lists, I'm looking at age because, as you know, the past couple of seasons, the free agent class, a lot of old dudes, man, and I think that the young – I mean, look, like Devers isn't all that young. ADAMES isn't all that young. Chapman isn't all that young. You need to bring in some guys that are, in that range of like 28, 29, 30, if you can find them. So you can put together a core that sticks around for 3-4 seasons and that they've got the stamina. They're young enough to take it because it's brutal. It's brutal.
Well, I just told Chardell we're putting the link out in 5 minutes. It's 7 o'clock, and we're not going to have a lot of time for it because my dinner is starting to smell pretty dang good.
Uh-oh.
Few things we did want to kind of go over real quick before that, though, is one thing on a personal note, everybody knows I collect autographs. I love going to get cards signed down at the thing. And after I saw the media give Elliot Ramos the friendliest guy award, like basically he puts up the least fight to do interviews, I thought it would be great to make a Skaters on Baseball Golden Sharpie Award or something like that for the giant that's best with the graphers. And me and my grapher crew could vote on it and maybe even have a little statue or plaque or something that we give them on the last day and say, hey, can you sign? And by the way, you won or something funny. So if any of you guys have any ideas, I'm throwing around the idea Golden Sharpie as a name, or like, I don't know, we had a bunch of them, but probably talk about that a lot more as the year goes because it won't happen till next year. But that's something. And then most important position to upgrade we went over, but what players are on the re-sign bubble and who should stay? Did you go over that one?
No, I didn't.
I didn't hear what you were talking about for about 7 minutes.
No, yeah, I know. No, I was just I was answering some questions and going through kind of the free agent stuff. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot of guys that are on that bubble. I think Dom Smith is one of them that he's a tough one, because he was super clutch this year. Didn't play the whole time, got hurt, but he's one of those guys. It's a tough one to say, hey, we're not going to bring you back. But first base is like standing room only. and you don't want Dom Smith playing in the outfield. I think Encarnacion is probably done in San Francisco. I hate to say that because I think that he never really got to perform to his potential with the injuries and all that. But I don't think he's around. And I don't know. Ryan Walker might be gone too.
Could be. Anthony, I don't really know, but I'll look into it. The season just ended yesterday. I'm guessing they just send you money digitally or something for the top 3 guys that won. I ended up in 8th place. I'm not sure where Christian ended up. But,
probably last, I can tell you.
I kind of stopped watching for the last couple of weeks because I was pretty far out of it. I'll look into it, though, and take a look at your bank statements or whatever. You might just see a direct deposit coming through is what I would guess would happen.
Yeah. So look, before we bring our buddy on, you're talking about how much the season ending is such a bummer for you, right?
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie Stripes?
Oh, hell yeah. That's a fact, Jack.
Is this going to work?
That's a fact, Jack.
Okay, why is it not working? Well, it's the beginning of the movie, and basically he loses his job. He goes home. His girlfriend's packing up and leave. She leaves, and he's like, and then depression set in.
Right. Well, I did come up with I didn't think about this too long, but the first 3 things that came to my mind, 3 best things about the season being over. Optimism in my brain, right? Number 1 for me is the slogan, nothing like it is over. It ends yesterday. Let's take that banner down, and all the geniuses in Oracle Park need to come up with a new slogan. So I love that. Number 2, I guess that we have new players and coaches to look forward to. And does anyone know about this? 6-7? I don't know. It's weird. Okay, number 3, it opens a lot more time for me to be with my family and dog and take care of things that I've been putting aside for the entire baseball season. I got to make a ramp so my dog can get on the bed. I got to there's a lot of house stuff that needs to happen. And then me and Cheryl want to travel a little bit. So who knows? Maybe I'm down at fall ball next month. You never know.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to not cursing at my radio or my television.
Okay.
A little bit of, I'll let off that steam in some other ways. I'll go out and ride bikes and go skate a little bit maybe and just kind of get away from it that way. Definitely looking forward to not having the same tagline. Looking forward to more Bunkergate talk in the off season because I think we're going to maybe get some answers between now and opening day next year. And I just think that things are going to get better. I mean, we sort of predicted that next year was going to be, better than this year. And so there it is. And it looks like we've got our guy Chardal is about to come on in.
Well, before we get to Chardal, there was another guy down at Oracle earlier today.
His name is Nego Ned. Negative is what he said. He's Mr. I told you so. He's Mr. I told you so.
This is Nego Ned, reporting live from the Oracle Park here. I told you guys, time and time again, this is nothing but a 500 team, guys. What did I tell you? Bob Melvin already gone. Matt Williams gone. What's going to happen next year? The same thing. This team cannot compete with the Dodgers, Padres, even the Diamondbacks, guys. What is it going to take? What are we going to bring in? Huh? You think you're going to get Kyle Tucker? No. Do you think you're going to get Framber Valdez? No. We're probably lucky if we get Taylor Rogers back or some Vogelsonnet pitching coach. Who knows? They're going to try to make some hype out of something that's nothing. I can't take it anymore, guys. I'm out of here for the off season. Maybe I'll be back next year, but damn it, let's get rid of the nothing like it. And who's in the bunker? Bunker Gate needs to be solved.
Negative net is so negative. Damn.
Oh boy.
Gabe Rocks has been following Nego Ned close.
Posey wasn't going to fire Bob Melvin, but he did. Well, who knows, right? We're looking for a picture from our next guest, and once we see the picture come aboard, oh boy, guys, guess who it is?
Click that like button, smash that subscribe button, ring that notification bell.
One and only, the man who's been wanting to come on since before the show started. The one, the only. Drum roll, please. Look at that. Shardo.
Oh,
Yeah, what's up, Christian Schmitty? I'm a big fan of the Forever San Francisco Giants podcast. You make some great San Francisco Giants content on the channel. I'm a big supporter of you. I try and tune into your show every single day. If I have time and if I'm not doing anything, I'll definitely hop on your show. I was at the game yesterday, man. That was an exciting game yesterday, man. That pumped me up yesterday, man. Willie Adames hit that home run, 30th home run since Barry Bonds, man. That was a special moment for Adames. He won the Willie Mack Award, so he's making a statement for himself up here in San Francisco. And then Devers hit a solo home run, which made it 2-0. And then Jung-Hoo Lee had a double, which made it 4-0, which was basically the game. The game was over at that point. But what were your thoughts on the game? I mean, how exciting was it? Was it to see you? How exciting was it for you to see Devers and Adames hit those 2 home runs? Big home runs for Devers and Adames.
Sardal, I was at the game behind home plate. I had this epic view, and all of a sudden, leading off for the first time all year is Willie Adames. And I said, this guy is doing it. They put him up first to get the most at bats he could get. They want this. First pitch, boom. I was like, yeah, 30, baby. It's done. And from then on, it was great. The one thing I would say that's a little negative is I felt like the fan appreciation thing was a lot less this year. They didn't do in between inning giveaways as much. And when they threw the balls out at the end, it was a lot less time of that too. But overall, the game was very exciting. Devers is here to stay, and I'm excited to have his presence in the lineup.
So Christian, man, like, you know, we gotta have a better season next year, because I know the 2025 season was not as we expected it to be. We got eliminated We didn't make it to the postseason. We're not making it to the wild card. So do you think that the San Francisco Giants are gonna have a better season next year? Realizing that they fired Bob Melvin. I mean, he wasn't doing a really great job. So I think that they did the right. I think Buster Posey, the president of baseball operations, I think he made the right move to fire Melvin, because Melvin wasn't a good manager. I mean, he was making bad calls. He was getting ejected. He was getting ejected here and there. He was not a good manager. And I think that Posey made the right decision, because, you know, he has all the power in his hands to do whatever he wants to do. So he made that decision. And I think, you know, kudos to Buster Posey for doing that, man. Because if Buster Posey wouldn't have done that, we'll have to stick with this bum ass manager for the whole season, and I don't want to stick with this bum ass manager.
Yeah, well,
because he sucks.
Yeah, I think
like he's a horrible manager.
Well, I wouldn't say that he's a horrible manager. I think he's a good manager, but he's not a great manager. And I think the difference between a good manager and a great manager is pretty big. Okay. We can go right down the line. I mean, Bob Melvin didn't handle the pitching very well. I think we all know that. And he screwed around with the lineup and the batting order a lot, and the play in the matchups did not work. He didn't necessarily have all the everyday players that he needed to not do that. But I just think that whoever they get is going to be an upgrade over Melvin next year. I definitely think they're going to have a better season next year. And look, Buster's not done. He's going to be bringing in some talent in the offseason. We're going to see some pretty big moves in the offseason. I think he's going to go after the best.
I mean, if we look at it, whoever we get next year for the next manager, there's a lot of potential replacements out there that people are potentially looking and pondering to see who our next manager is going to be. But there's a lot of great names out there. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good names out there that we can go for. I mean, Schumacher. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, Schumacher.
And then we got Mark DeRosa, man, but we got a lot of great replacements. And let me ask this to Schmitty. So who do you think that the Giants are going to make as their next manager? Because like I said, there's a lot of fantastic names out there that can be thrown out in the hat for our potential next manager.
Yeah, I think it's kind of tricky because we talked about it earlier as far as like having someone from within the organization. Like, I think, let's say Hallberg and Wotus are the contenders for within the organization, but I'm hoping that they go outside the organization. I've been hearing a lot about the Orioles guy, Hyde. He seems kind of like he has that youthful, presence. The thing with DeRosa, Eric was talking about this, and I kind of have to agree, is he's only coached the WBC, which is like 2 or 3 weeks. He has never done like a whole season, and the world baseball is like an all-star team. So, it's tough to just plug in DeRosa, but I do like DeRosa. Who was the other name you mentioned? Schumacher. Yeah, Schumacher. I can see Schumacher being in the top 5 for sure.
So for me, I want to get a good manager, but I don't want to get a manager that has no experience, right? Because like when you have a manager coming into the league to manage this team, you need some guy who has experience, right? Like if he has no experience at all and he's just pulling bringing somebody who hasn't had any coaching experience, then that doesn't make any sense, because like if we bring that manager, he's gonna get fired right off the spot, right off the first time they bring him into the organization, he's gonna get fired. So like that's not gonna be a good sign.
Well, that's mostly true, Chardal, but there are
because in sports, if you bring a manager, you have to bring a manager that knows what he has some background with whatever organization with the Giant, Bob Melvin has a lot of expertise. Bruce Bochy could be it, but I don't think Bruce Bochy is going to be the manager.
No, definitely not.
I don't.
I mean, what do you think about? Bruce
Bochy got released from the Rangers, so they're saying that he might come back and manage the Giants. Because the Rangers just let Bruce Bochy go from the team, so he might come back and. I mean, you never know.
He's not the right guy. He's not the right guy. I want to know what you think about Stephen Vogt, who's the manager of the Guardians. He never managed before he got that job. And look at what he's done with the Guardians. I mean, he's built a powerhouse in Cleveland.
I mean, Stephen Vogt might be a good name. He did play for the Giants, so he did play for the team. But like I said, I haven't gone deep into all the names, but I'll definitely do my research, go into like Google or do my research and see all the different names that we could potentially get. Because right now, I don't know who we're going to get right now. It's kind of hard at this point because there's so many great candidates to be to be the next manager that it's really hard at this point to really decide who's going to be the best one, right? Because you don't know who's going to be the best one, right?
Do you think that there's a chance that the player of baseball operations would put the player of baseball operations in as manager?
I mean, like, it will be very. It will be very nostalgic for Buster Posey to be manager because that would be very nostalgic. But do you think that is I don't think that's going to happen, right?
No, I don't think so either. But I think it's more likely that I'm hoping it's not Hallberg.
Christian, you know what I like about Schmitty? I like that Schmitty throws out these things that are so far fetched that they're not gonna happen. I like that, we need some comedy to the show, right? Because that's what I like about you. You throw these ideas out there that they're not gonna even happen, and why even mention them? That's what I like about you when you mention it. You throw
Well,
these ideas that like have there's no way that's gonna happen.
There's
There's
no
no way
way.
that's gonna go down, and then you say those things.
Well, what about Nick
That's why.
Hundley? Is there a chance Nick Hundley could be in there?
Um, I know, Christian. I know a great like who can be the next manager, JT Snow.
Ooh, no. I don't think so. I don't
think
want
so.
JT Snow.
Schmitty said earlier, and I tend to agree, that the choice has probably already been made, or it's a very short list of guys that Buster is like. He's not like casting a wide net, seeing
But
who all is out there. He's
Schmitty, so
already.
maybe what you could potentially do if you people if for different candidates for manager, you can make a poll on YouTube and you can put like 3 names on there, and then you can have people vote on which name they want, and then the option out of those 3, the one that gets the most votes by people that voted for it, that's going to be the new manager for the team. So you can put up like 3 players that you think are going to be potential great candidates, and people can go in into the poll and vote on which one they like better, and then they can which one gets the most votes is going to be the new manager for the Giants next year in 2026.
Based on everything that I see in internet chats and live stream chats, no way in hell do I want fans voting on a manager. Just no way.
No, but then for the Willie Mack Award winner, fans vote for who they want. Then why can you not make a poll to vote for the manager, right? Because isn't in the Willie Mack Award ceremony, fans get to vote on the player that they want to win the Willie Mack Award. Willie
No.
Mack Award.
No, the players vote.
No, the
The
fans vote too. Like there's a like when I went to the Willie Mack Award ceremony, there was a on the Giants web page, there was a page where you can fill out like your name and everything, and there's multiple players that you select on there. You can select who you want to win, and then just go to the game, and it's kind of a mystery to see who's gonna win the award.
Okay, but that's not
Like it's a
how
mystery because like you don't know who's gonna win it. So if you vote like ADAMES, maybe ADAMES won't win it. But if you vote Jung-Hoo Lee, it might not be Jung-Hoo Lee. It might be like Chapman or something
They're
who's
not
gonna win it.
gonna.
So
They're
it's
not
a
gonna.
mystery.
They're not gonna vote for the manager, though. That's definitely not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
No, but if you
Sure,
want,
I like how you bring things up that aren't going to happen. I love the comedy, man. It's like you bring things up, but they're not going to even happen. It's perfect.
so the Yankees are taking on the Giants on opening day next year. Are you gonna go? I mean, that's gonna be a great game.
I'll
I
be
was
there.
asking fellow Giant fans about that. You get to see Aaron Judge out there. You get to see Cody Bellinger out there.
Your boy
It's gonna be a
Carlos
good.
Rodon. You might see Camilo Doval even still, right?
Yeah.
I'm more curious to see who you got in the playoffs. Let's go through the playoff predictions. Who you got? Reds versus Dodgers.
I got Reds.
Ooh, Padres versus Cubs.
I got Padres.
Red Sox versus Yankees.
I got Yankees.
And Cleveland versus Detroit.
I got Cleveland.
Dude, if the Reds win, I'll send you the bobblehead.
Christian. So when you heard the breaking news that Melvin got fired from the Giants, was it a immediate shock to you when you heard about the news, or was it like you expected to happen? Like it was not really like a shock that when you heard about it.
It was absolutely not a shock. I predicted that he was going to be fired if the Giants didn't make the postseason. I thought that months ago.
Yeah.
So it's not a shock, and I think it was necessary. And you could just see the writing on the wall when the Giants took that big downturn after the All-Star break. It just felt like heads are going to roll. because this is a harbinger of worse things to come in the future. And then I think that stretch of where they lost 15 out of 16 at home, like that one stretch, I think that was the final nail in the coffin. Now,
And as a Giants fan who's been as a Giants fan who's been supporting this team for so many years, the one player that I really want to see leave this organization is Ryan Walker. I don't like Ryan Walker, but he's costing us too many games.
yeah,
And
this year he wasn't good.
Schmitty, I was taking the BART back from the Giants game, and I was getting back home, and I was taking the train to go back back to my house, and I asked one of the fans, and I said, "Is Ryan Walker Camilo Doval 2.0?" And then he actually agreed with me. Like I asked him, like, is Ryan Walker Camilo Doval 2.0? And they said I can't. And then he said I kind of get where you're coming from, because Camilo Doval blew a lot of saves, and Ryan Walker blew a lot of saves that costed us the win. Like, we could have won those games, but Ryan Walker's costing us games. How are we gonna win, right? It's not gonna work out, right? You can't be blowing saves like that.
Walker had a terrible year compared to having great years previously. And the really unfortunate thing about Walker folding up this year is that he cost Verlander a couple of wins. Just, when Verlander, I mean, everybody's going to be like, Verlander sucked. He only won 3 games, whatever it is. But, like, Verlander pitched really well. And I thought he pitched well enough to have at least 11 wins by my math, and just the bullpen let him down. The offense let him down. But Ryan Walker blew, I think, 3 of those for Verlander. So, yeah, I mean, if Walker could turn it around and be the guy he used to be, I definitely want to keep him. But I feel like it just he never got right all year. He had a little short period of about 3 weeks where he had seemed to find it, and then he went right back in the toilet again. So,
well, think about this. The Giants missed the playoffs by 3 wins, and Ryan Walker blew 7 saves.
I mean, like, Ryan Walker blew 7 saves, but that's, like, unacceptable, right? Like, you're a pitcher, man. Your job is to go out there and close the game out. Your job is not to make mistakes like that and blow saves like that. And that's not what you do out there, right? That's your role as a pitcher, right? In baseball, they're supposed to go out on the field and close the game out, right? Like, get the team the win, right? That's their job.
Yeah,
and sometimes they don't do that, which is like, you shouldn't. If you don't want to do, if you don't do your job right as a pitcher, then why should you be a pitcher in the first place if you're gonna make boneheaded mistakes like that and blow saves, cost people the game, do stuff like that? It just doesn't make any sense.
He lost his feel. He lost his control. And the thing is,
I just don't understand that.
You guys can fact check me, but I believe that Mariano Rivera had 4 consecutive seasons without a blown save in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
but
a dedicated closer, a guy who pitches, I don't know, 100 games in a season, let's say, if you're a dedicated closer and you're on a winning team, to not blow a single save is incredible. To blow 3, maybe 4, that would be kind of the average you would expect. But 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, the only guy who's blown more saves than Walker this year is that chump on the Dodgers, right? I mean, he's got what, 12 now? 12 blown saves.
Are you talking about Tanner Scott?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think he's got 12 blown saves on the season. That's terrible.
Man, that's Schmitty, how do you think the Giants are going to turn around next year? You think that they're going to have a much better season next year?
I think that they need
This year was absolutely horrible. Like, this year was not the best they had. I mean, they could have made a bet. They could have salvaged the whole something out of the whole season, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm. No,
which is something I don't understand about it, because you have to, because they could have done some really, really good things in this season, but they didn't do it, which is like, you know, and I knew they'll get eliminated because sometimes this team is off and on every year. Like I asked my friend who doesn't really know much about baseball, he doesn't watch sports that much. I asked him that, what is the problem with this team? Why do you think this team is going in the negative down negative direction that they're headed into? And he said that this team sometimes wins games and loses games, and they win game and they lose one game, and they win a couple of games and then they lose a couple of games. That's the problem with this team, right? They need to be consistent. And if you're not consistent, how are you going to win games, right? Like this is like
Next year is
it's really because
playoffs 100%. If they don't make the playoffs next year, it's like the whole thing is going to blow up. It's unacceptable if they don't make it next year. So I think next year we're going to be looking at a much different team, whether it's just the way they come out and play or if it's actually the personnel. But they need to be in the postseason next year. It has to happen.
I mean, like, I'm glad. I mean, as a Giants fan, I'm glad that we swept the Rockies. I mean, that's really great, man. We took down the worst team in all of baseball um with such a horrible record.
Yeah.
I'm glad we made that happen. Like we won all three games, but they don't really matter because it doesn't. The Giants are already eliminated from the postseason, so these games don't really matter at all. Like they have no significance, right? Because we're already eliminated. So these games are just to go and watch them for fun, right?
Well, they do have some significance because it's always good to end the season on a winning note, even if you don't make the postseason. So you're
No, but
expected.
no.
Yeah,
What I'm
but
trying to tell you
listen,
is that
you're expected to sweep the Rockies when they come into town. They're the worst team in baseball. Okay, so yeah,
no,
on the
but
one
like
hand,
when you're eliminated from when the Giants got eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, they're gonna have some significance, but they're not gonna make you get into the wild card.
you're right. But at the same time, you got to play for pride. You got to not just lay down and take it up the ass just because you got eliminated from playoff contention. I mean, look, the Miami Marlins were eliminated from the postseason like a month and a half ago, and look at what they did to the Mets. Right?
But I mean, like, it's just like this team is so. I mean, this team has been performing so great. They're such a great unit. They have so many great players on the roster. They have Matt Chapman. They have Willie Adames. They have Rafael Devers. They're just a good team. But like, I was hoping that there would be much more of a positive outcome from the season. But it looks like there was no positive outcomes. Everything was negative.
Yeah.
Everything
Well,
was like downhill. Everything was going downhill from the beginning of the season. Things were not looking good. I mean,
no, it was
you have to be realistic about the season, right? You
the
have to
All
be
Star
like, if
break
things
was
are
where yeah, the All Star
you have
break
to
is where
be.
it started to unravel this year
Yeah,
because the first
that's
half,
just how it is about everything, right? Everything is
Wouldn't
not
they
all
lose
sunshine.
16 straight at home or something?
Everything
yeah,
is not all sunshine and rainbows, right?
no, it's not. But there's reason to be optimistic now that Melvin is gone. You get a chance. It's like a restart, right? You got a lot of talent already in place on the roster. They're going to bring in more, and now we're
Schmitty,
going to have new
I
manager.
got this hoodie. I bought this hoodie at the Giants game in the dugout store. It's basically it's this it's this artist um and it's basically symbolizing the rise from the Negro Leagues to the major leagues, and the silhouette on the front of the sweatshirt is Tim Lincecum. That's the silhouette on front of the hoodie,
Nice.
and it was
Tim Lincecum was in the
it was
Negro League.
no, it symbolized her from the Negro Leagues to the major leagues, but that was the player that's on the front of the jersey, on front of the hoodie.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Does it
So
say "Let Timmy Smoke" somewhere on it?
no, give them their flowers.
Okay.
Wow, I just got a direct text from a friend of the show, and it says he screen grabbed Carmen Q posted saying goodbye and thank you to the KMBR bunker. Thank you for being the home of my first podcast, my first post-game interviews, and so many other firsts in my baseball career. Gone but never forgotten. Bunker Gate.
Okay.
Sharon, we gotta wrap this
Christian,
up.
you
It's
know, the hoodie that I
7:30.
bought, the hoodie that I bought from the Dugout store, you know how much it costed? It was
$10.
$125, but there was a
Oh.
50% off deal because it was fan appreciation day.
Yeah.
So I got this for $68. So I saved myself a whole bunch of money getting it.
Well, I'm buying a Rafael Devers jersey because he finally hit the splash hit. Do I get an orange jersey or the away gray?
You should get the orange.
Orange. Okay. Well, look, it's 7:30. I gotta get going. Thanks for joining us, Shardal. I appreciate you.
Christian Schmitty. I'm a big fan of the show. Viewers, make sure to click the like button, smash that subscribe button, ring that notification bell for the Forever San Francisco Giants podcast. They make some great Giants content, so if you like everything they're doing, go there and click that subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't really cost you a penny at all to just go there and click that like button. And my YouTube channel is SGA Sports Talk channel. I'm at 466 subscribers, trying to get to 500 by the trying to get to 500 subscribers.
We're trying to get to 500 too.
If they really like my content, then have your viewers go there and click that like button, smash that subscribe button, ring that notification bell for the SGA Sports Talk channel, so you'll know when I post another live video on my channel. But I always love calling into your show, and I'm always gonna be a friend of the show, man. And hopefully we can hopefully we can have a better season next year, and hopefully we can make it to the postseason and win it all next year. So thanks guys for having me on the show, and I hope you have a good rest of your
Thanks for
night.
Good having you.
See you later.
Thanks, Shardal. Peace.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's 7:30. We went a little over tonight, but it was the end of the season. We'll probably be back. I think we're going to come back maybe after every series or something. So at the end of this first, what do they call them? Wild card. I don't know why they call them wild card if the Dodgers won the division, but after those first 3-game series are done, we'll probably hop on and do a recap. Kristen, did you want to give any predictions on these games before we go?
It's a tough one.
Who do you got, Reds versus Dodgers? Because I hate to say it, but I'm taking the Dodgers.
I think the Dodgers.
I don't want them to win, but I think they will.
I think the Reds have better pitching than the Dodgers, but I think that the Reds' offense has just been a sputter. As a longtime friend of the show, Curtis says that it's a lot of bench players. He feels like a lot of these guys are not everyday dudes, and so he's obviously he's going to be negative about it. As far as San Diego and the Cubs,
yeah,
I'm leaning Cubs, but I want San Diego to win.
I got the Dads. I'm taking Padres.
You got the Dads. Okay,
yep.
You could be right.
Boston, New York.
Love to see Boston beat New York. Don't think it's happening. I think New York's going to take that series.
I agree.
And
I'm going Yankees.
I think that Detroit is going to knock Cleveland off.
I agree there too. So we're pretty much the same, except for you're leaning on Cubs over Padres.
A little bit. I could be way off, but something tells me that San Diego. I don't know. I think they lost a little bit of their potency coming down the stretch, and the second half they didn't seem quite as dominant. First half they were kind of hanging around, but they looked more solid. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll get you there. I'm at 2902. You need to be regular to keep it going. I know what you're saying, but we also got like a whole life and jobs and all kinds of stuff. So we try to do it regular, but there's no way we could do it every day. Yeah, Christian, I'm with you. I think for me, it's Dodgers, Padres, Yankees, Tigers, and the Phillies will play the Dodgers and the Brewers will play the Padres. And those 2 series will be fire.
Yep.
Fire.
Yep.
The Dodgers, if they're smart, which I hope they're not, they're going to put Ohtani in the bullpen. They're going to put Glasnow in the bullpen, and they're going to use Snell, Yamamoto, and one other guy and have a 3-man rotation. Because if they try to depend on that bullpen the way it is now, they will not win. I guarantee that. But if they start using Ohtani or some of their good starters in the bullpen, that's when things can get interesting. Like I said, I'm rooting for the Dodgers as hard as I can to lose. I'm hyped the Mets didn't make it. And I'm excited to see what the future is going to bring the Giants. I really think that this first day out of the gates, Buster saying, like, no, this, making moves right away, saying, like, this is unacceptable. This is what we're doing. That makes me feel good as a Giants fan. And as you all know, no matter what happens, win, lose, draw, shitty team, good team, I'm stuck black and orange till I die. So Giants forever. That's why the podcast is Giants Forever. So forever Giants. Well, cool, man. I hope my tacos are still warm. And till next time, we are out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're done. We'll see you guys after the wild card series.
And right after Buster Posey fired Bob Melvin today, he said this.
It's time to go.
Let's go, San Francisco. Let's go, Giants.
Gee, that was one of the most mind-blowing shows I've seen to this day.
Do not drop that kid.
We're in the memory-making business.
San Francisco is the Giants are San Francisco.
The Giants are world champions.
See you soon. Thank you.
And I am forever a Giant.
We put the front office in a tough spot.